Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're here for another episode of the Naomi Empowers Show. If it's your first time ever tuning in, let me please just extend my appreciation to you this evening or this afternoon, depending on where you're tuning in from in the world. Thank you so much for joining us. The Naomi Empowers Show is all about giving a platform to entrepreneurs. You see, I'm passionate about making sure that we can capture the collective knowledge and wisdom that is within our community so that we can build up an online repository so that one day someone in the future who may be on a similar path has a resource that they can tap into where they can learn how to be more, achieve more, and really just be the person that they actually want to be. And it will all be through the help of connecting with the wisdom that is shared on this platform. So once again, thank you for tuning in. We are live every single Sunday at 8 p.m. if you're here in the UK, 3 p.m. if you're on the East Coast, and midday if you're on the West Coast. Thank you so much for joining us, and I really do hope that you enjoy the show. Before we go any further, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Naomi Empowers. I'm a transformational coach, consultant, and speaker, and it is my pleasure to be with you this evening. Now, I know from our last show that we had people tuned in from literally all over the world. So I want to invite you to go ahead and let me know in the comments exactly where you are tuning in from. It's always incredible to know who we have on and who is here with us and where you're from. Before we go any further, let me just ask you, those of you who are watching live, go ahead and press, especially if you're watching live on Facebook, go ahead and press that share button somewhere in the bottom right hand corner so that we can ensure that as many people get to tap into this and tune in to what we have today. And believe me, you are in for a treat. And for those of you who are joining us on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. Go ahead and press that subscribe button, but don't forget to press that little bell to make sure that you receive notifications for when we are on live again next. You will ensure that you will never ever miss an episode. Wow, thank you so much. We have someone tuning in all the way from Nairobi. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh, Paul, thank you so much. Listen, this is the lockdown look. And by that, I mean, listen, underneath here is a hot mess. I'm waiting for the barbershops to reopen. But thank you so much, Paul. I am excited today because I have one of my extra special friends who are joining us on this evening's show. Now, some of you may have seen her literally on your TV screens, heard her on your radio. You may have, you know what? I don't want to even spoil it because I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell you all about her and what she does for a living. But before we actually do that, now, for some of you may already know, you've seen the flyer, you've seen the promotional material. We have the phenomenal Phoebe Edwards joining us tonight. Now, I don't know if this songbird is going to sing for you today. So I prepared something just in case she's not ready to. So once again, welcome to the Naomi Empowers Show. Thank you for tuning in, and I do hope you enjoy your stay with us.
I will go where you need, be right there in time of need. And when I lose my will, you'll be right there to push me up a hill. There's no looking back for us. We got love, and sure enough, that's enough.
Hey, Phoebe.
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you so much for that. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone.
And guys, please do let us know in the comments if you're able to see us properly, if you're able to hear us properly. I don't want you to miss any of the wisdom that is going to be dropping here today. Oh, look, you've got some fans on the line this evening. We've got Bianca screaming, hi! And Bianca loves you. She loves you. And you've got my mummy who's tuning in. She's super excited as well. Thank you. Oh, hey, Shay.
Oh, thank you.
Shay, you're so pretty. Can I be you, Phoebe? Phoebe, you've got some adoring fans who are on tonight. Thank you so much for being with us. So, Phoebe, tell us. Just not even give me, because I'm privileged to have this beauty in my life. I know Phoebe, she's a great friend of mine. She's even godmother to my children. We have a great friendship that we've developed over the years. But I know that there's going to be people on here tonight who don't know you, who may never have seen you. So I want you to give us your intro. Tell us about who you are, what it is that you do. But believe me, I do not want the humble version. I want the all-out version. I want you to share your value. I want you to share your fabulous with us, your fabulousness rather, with us.
Naomi knows me too well. She knows I'll say, well, I just sing and I just write. However, I am Phoebe Edwards. I was born and raised in North London. I'm a singer-songwriter, and most of my musical career consists of traveling all over the world with different artists and backing vocals. I've worked for many major artists in the industry. My career has enabled me to experience cultures and places that I probably would never have gone to or been able to experience if it had been for the likes of singing with a duet with James Brown. And singing at London's Ramparts of Camden. I've toured with Jessie J, Arena World Tour, Rita Ora, Gabrielle, Rod Stewart, Leona Lewis, Liam Gallagher. Most recently, I worked with Years and Years on the Palo Santo tour. And of the latest thing that I was about to do was work with the wonderful Brian Perry. However, COVID hit and then everything shut down. Some of my work includes recording vocals for artists as well. So I've been awarded a platinum disc for on Stormzy's album, Going Songs and Prayer. I sang on Craig David's latest album, The Time Is Now. I featured on the song Focus. So those vocals, you might not see my name, but those vocals that you hear throughout that track is myself. That went into #1 on the Friday Spotify charts at #1. My solo career, I've done sold-out shows with for tributes to Whitney Houston at world-famous venues like Jazz Cafe, Quaglinos, Rooftop Gardens in Kensington. The list goes on. Also, for myself, I independently released 8 singles. Of them, I've entered into the R&B charts at #12, which led me to be recognised by fans across the globe. And I've supported artists such as Gabrielle, Louisa Johnson and Sam Bailey doing my own material. That's just a little bit of my little work I do.
I love it. Phoebe, thank you for doing that. Now, anyone who knows Phoebe knows that I really did have to prize that out of her. She's not the type to reel off her accomplishments like that. And believe me, when she says that's only a little bit of what she has done and achieved and accomplished over the years, that's no exaggeration. Okay, I'm hearing that your sound is improving, Phoebes. Some issues with the quality of the picture, but I'm hoping that will get resolved, because when we were testing it, it was fine. But technology is one of those things. It's amazing when it works. Anyway, Phoebe, you have had such a rich life experience. You know, if there are some people in the world who have stories, and there are some people whose stories could be turned into novels, bestsellers. But there are also some people whose lives could be turned into full-blown, full-picture movies like that you would actually go to the cinema to go and watch. And believe me, Phoebe, you are definitely one of those people who fall into that category. And I say that it is exactly to glorify your story, because I know that even though there may have been elements of pain, there's also been elements of immense joy, which is incredible. But Phoebe, I just really want to know, and for those of you watching, whether you're watching us live or whether you're watching us on the replay, I really wanted to get Phoebe on here today, because, you know, Phoebe and I have quite a few similarities. And one of those similarities is that we are both PKs, maybe for our students.
Wow. I was planning to talk a bit about that tonight, so you
yeah.
never.
We're definitely going to be going there. We're, and for those of you who thinking, PK, what's that? We're both pastors' kids. So we got to attack this thing from lots of different angles. This is definitely going to be an episode, guys, where you want to be taking out your notepad and your paper or your app that you can take notes on your phone, because there are going to be some pearls of wisdom dropped today. Because here's the thing, when people have such incredible opportunities, when they have such a rich life, it often comes with a great deal of learning curves. And this is too funny, Shay. PK's matter.
We do.
Yes, we do. Oh dear, I can't even get rid of it now. But Phoebe, I really want to know, and we are going to try and attack this, as I said, from lots of different angles, because there's a lot that we really do have to get through today. And for those of you who are watching, please feel free to join the conversation by leaving your questions, leaving your comments. We will try to include as many of them as possible. Phoebe, tell me, I don't even want you to limit it to just your amazing career that you've had thus far. Just talk to me about life in general. What would you say has been the most valuable life lesson you have learned whilst on your journey?
The most valuable life lesson that I have learned on my journey, and I'm still learning, is to listen to your gut. Listen to that still small voice. Listen to your body, listen to your mind. When something doesn't feel quite right, go with it. Go with it in confidence. I was brought up in church, as Naomi said, brought up in church. My dad's a bishop, overseer, pastor. And although being brought up in church was good, it had its values, it had its morals. A lot of the time, the way I was brought up, it was extremely strict, and a bit of culture woven into this. A lot of the things that were put in place in my life was just do and don't ask, and you'll be rewarded. Keep smiling, and keep, the way that I would put it is putting on that show, trusting and smiling and standing strong, and you'll be rewarded. For me, that can relate in so many different aspects of my life, like work, relationships, church, friendships, so many different things where you just smile, put on a show, and just keep going, and you'll be rewarded. And that was instilled in me from a very small age. But what's ringing out tonight for me to speak about is my work, my career, and then most recently, how listening to my gut or not listening to my gut and spilt over into a marriage that I was involved in that was awful. So I've always wanted to sing, and I blogged about my experience. I started a blog page in this lockdown time. I decided to try and get a bit, creative and just, use my time wisely as well as I could, as much as eating as possible. And I wrote a blog about my experience of singing in church for the first time, and I was 8 years old, and I went up to the front, and it was rewarding to me, because when I went to sing, I knew the feeling it gave me. I knew that I needed to, that was the way to express myself. I'm not a great speaker. Doing this tonight was, I'm not going to lie to you, I was scared. And I still am a bit nervous. Those who know me can tell by my voice or whatever, but singing, give me a microphone and I stand in my power. I stand with surety. I stand strong. And when I was 8 years old, I had my first experience of singing a solo in church. That was on my accord. I went up to the front and I sang because I wanted to sing. And the feeling that I got because I was able to express and let out my voice, and the how it touched other people and touched their lives, that had a massive impact on what I knew I was meant to do.
Wow.
And what I was meant to do, not just in church, but just in my life. I knew that I was meant to sing. My parents had a different plan for me. And the way I was brought up was strict, as I said, no jewelry, no trousers, no secular music, no. And the more I asked questions as to, but why? Then there was a very thin line between disobedience and understanding or asking questions out of curiosity. And it was just, I was quickly slapped back into shape, smile and nod, just do. You're not going to go and sing, you're going to go and do accounts. And I remember working in accounts, and it was good for me, and I worked in an office. And when I was 16, I didn't go to college, I went straight to work in an office in Enfield, and it was cool, but it's just not what I wanted to do, and I could feel it in my gut. I just didn't I didn't want to be in an office. And I'd do the odd gig here and there, I'd go with my sister and I'd travel around Italy, and then I'd have to come back home and I'd have to go back to the office. But I knew it's just not what I wanted to do. And then one day, that gut feeling just took control. And I had to listen to it. And in listening to that gut feeling, I upset my parents, because they were like, no, you shouldn't be singing. I said that I was going to go and I was going to hand in my notice and I was going to sing. I felt that singing was what I needed to do. I understood that I could, I understood that I could create a massive, great life from being an accountant. I wanted to express myself through song.
So Phoebe, let me just stop you there and ask a couple questions.
Go for it.
So what you're saying is, and what you're saying to us all, is that you had what would be termed as a good job. You were on a great career path, building a career as an accountant. I know many accountants who are doing very, very well for themselves. It's one of those safe professions, especially if you're good at what it is that you do. You made the decision to leave the safety net of a good job and take that leap of faith into the world of the entertainment industry with no guarantees.
That's right.
No job. Self-employed. Okay. Talk to me about that. You said that was a time when you trusted your gut, that you just had to do it. Talk to me about that, some of the thoughts and feelings you had.
That was a time where I felt that I had to honor myself. I don't know what singing sounds like. I'll give you an example. Shame! He's going to give me trouble tonight, isn't she? So that feeling of wanting to leave the office and take a plunge and take a step into the industry. I didn't have a gig lined up. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how I was going to do it. But the only thing that made me take the step and made me continue was how I changed my thought process. I changed my thought process by telling myself, instead of saying I sing sometimes, I said to myself, I'm a full-time singer. When I introduced myself to people, it was no longer, I'm Phoebe Edwards, I do accounts, but sometimes I sing. It was, I'm Phoebe Edwards, I'm a full-time singer. And I followed my gut. Yes, Phoebe, please sing. Can you guys, please? Everyone wants me to sing. You never know. I don't know. Let's see how we go.
No pressure.
No pressure. The thing is, the pressure's mainly coming from Naomi, guys. Can I just say that? The pressure's mainly coming from her. Okay? So I had no, but from the time I changed my thought process and the way I was presenting myself to people and speaking it into being and following my gut was the moment opportunities started to open. Now, that doesn't mean that the opportunities and doors started to open because because I was confident that I was going to be okay singing. And it even led me into an experience of my first audition. I hate auditioning. But I remember in the transition from leaving work and changing my thought process, because obviously you hand in your notice and then you got a couple of, you got a month or a couple of weeks before you can actually leave. In that process, I remember after work one day being told that there was an audition at Premises Studio in Hackney. I hate auditioning. For me, I've auditioned probably about twice in my life properly. And I feel that I don't know. I feel if you love what I do and if you know what I do, I don't have to prove myself, so to speak, to people that might think big-headed, and some people, they're like, yeah, right on. However, on my way home from work one day, I got a message from someone saying there's auditions for a female vocalist for Shane Ward. He's going on tour in Europe, and he needs one singer, one backing singer. Would you go and audition? And I was listening to my gut of going into that thing that I wanted to do. I was also scared and listening to my gut of, I know I can do it, but my mind was taken over it. Supposing they don't choose me, and that what we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, which was imposter syndrome. I'm not good enough. I'm black. I'm too big. You know, I'm not skinny, and I'm not, you know, I'm not like the other girls that I'm sure he will want. However, I went out there, and I was, kid you not, I was one of the last people to audition because I took so long to go down there. And I was the last person singing. My voice broke. And I was like, I haven't got it. When I walked in, the girls that were walking out, they were all skinny, and they were all like light skins, and they were like model type. And I just wasn't like that. I was in my work suit, and I was like, I'm not going to get this. I went in and I reluctantly sung. Although I was following my gut, I still wasn't following it fully, but there was something that still kept me there, which I can only put down to being my gut.
Yeah.
And I sang and my voice broke. My voice broke, and I just remember thinking, just keep singing, whatever, just keep singing. And then I left, and before I even got to the car, I got the phone call saying you got the job. Girls had been auditioning all day. Yeah, pat myself on the back.
Right.
Girls had been auditioning all day. So literally from the time I handed in my notice, I then stepped straight into a tour in Europe, which then led me into, and I was the only singer on this tour, the only girl. I was on, it was my first tour. And then, you came to a couple of the shows as well.
I can't believe that was your first one.
My first tour.
Wow.
And then and then that led me on to traveling to Asia for 2 weeks on my own with Shane and the guitarist. So just listen to your gut. Sometimes listening to your gut, it can be a little bit unnerving, and sometimes it doesn't feel right. But there's something that you know. When you know, that's what you have to listen to, and that's what you have to follow.
Phoebe, there are so many questions that I have off the back of what you've just shared. Now, I guess one of the things that I want to really ask is, that was amazing. That was a happy ending story. Like, I remember going along to that tour, coming along to some of the shows. What did you not do a show? Was it Dublin? It was where?
It was in Ireland. Yeah,
that was the first time I went to Ireland, actually. So it was, and I remember it was incredible. And in fact, do you know something? I remember on my YouTube channel, one of the first videos I actually have, I've still got it. I've got a video of Phoebe performing all by herself, opening up for Shane Ward. I remember that like it was yesterday. That's amazing. There are a number of questions coming in, and there are a number of questions I want to ask as well. So we're gonna try and get a balance.
Is the sound and picture all right, guys? Is it all right?
Let us know, people. My mum jumped in, said the sound was improving. So I'm hoping that for everyone, it's perfect now. If not, at least I hope you can hear clearly enough to be able to keep up with what's going on the show today. Phoebe, I want to talk to you. There's two things, actually. One of the comments earlier that came up, I'm going to see if I can find it now. Tia says, not all the time. Your gut, not all the time will your gut lead you in the right direction. And I think that's something that is really important to note. And then Paul says, was there ever a time when you didn't know your gut? And so I guess that quite leads me quite nicely onto what it is that I want to ask you today. I know that oftentimes our most powerful lessons, because of the fact that we're human, we've got this human nature going on inside of us, we often learn lessons through pain. I want to know, give me just one situation where you didn't trust your gut, and a time, I guess, when the lesson about trusting your gut was really reinforced, but not in such a positive way, like ending up with a tour, which was the springboard for your professional music career. I want to know about the other side of it as well, because sometimes we ignore that gut feeling to our detriment. And oftentimes it's difficult for us to differentiate those voices in our head. Sometimes your gut telling you no, stop, is actually there to save your life in many instances.
Yeah.
In some cases, that gut feeling telling you no, don't do it, is fear, and is actually going to prevent you from achieving what it is you were supposed to achieve. So I think it's important to note that there's two sides to this. But I really wanted to dig into a time where this lesson about trusting your gut and trusting your instincts really, really rang home for you.
So this leads me, it leads me very nicely into the other situation that I wanted to speak about, my gut and not listening to it and where it led me. So I found myself in...
Hold on, sorry. We're just getting a few updates about the visuals. Visual is clear, Phoebe a little bit blurry, but the sound is good.
Am I clearer now? I turned up my little light thing.
Picture quality doesn't show her full beauty.
Oh. I'm so sorry.
Oh, beautiful Miss Phoebe. Oh, and thank you, ladies. Yes, as I was saying before, listen, this is Corona. This is because of Corona. We've got to get creative when the barbershops ain't open.
Can I just say, I've gone natural. I haven't been natural since I was about, 17. We won't talk about how old I am now. Oh, by the way, it's my birthday on Tuesday, so. But I've gone natural and I'm having to really, really embrace it.
I love that, Phoebe.
I'm actually loving it.
I love it. Natural queens out here. I love it.
Maybe
let's back to business. Let's get into it.
So there was a moment in 2012. I met this guy, and at first everything seemed cool, as it does. As the relationship went on, the next year, in 2 years after that, I found myself engaged to this guy. And as beautiful and as amazing as it looked, I knew there were plenty of red flags that I ignored. And I knew that there was a really loud voice and a really strong feeling in my gut that I was making the wrong decision. But I ignored it.
Why?
For the sake of what I thought I could persuade, or I could possibly keep smiling and reap the rewards of what I've been taught from a young child. Keep smiling and you'll reap the rewards. Keep smiling, keep going forwards, and hopefully you can help that person or help that situation to be turned into good. And I felt that in not listening to my gut, I found myself in a place where I was so low, and I found myself that I became a victim of abuse, emotionally, mentally. There was no protectiveness. I had a whole gang, so to speak, of people against me at the hands of this so-called man. And all of this seemed to come up from me not listening to my gut. But even though my gut was still telling me that it's not the right thing to do, there was still the other side of me that was saying, but what if you just wait? Maybe it will change. But what if you just try again? Maybe you'll convince the person or convince the people that you're not a bad person. For me, I basically found myself married to an abuser. 2 days before the wedding, there was a lie that came up about me, about money. Now, okay, I'm not going to brag, but I am proud of myself. In this industry, working for A-class artists, I was accused of stealing from my husband. And I was like, why would I have to steal? And when I approached him, he seemed to make me believe that he was going to sort it. It's all right, I'll sort it. But the lie came from him. This is 2 days before my wedding. And my gut was telling me, this isn't right. You shouldn't be here. You're in the wrong place. You shouldn't go ahead with it. But it's such a massive wedding. I'm the youngest of 9 children. My dad's a bishop. It's the first massive wedding that's happened in decades in our family. I'm the baby. I'm the singer. Like, there's fans, there's friends, there's churches, there's family. I can't cancel this wedding. But my gut was telling me it's not right. It's not right. And I chose. And the thing is, when you want to acknowledge and you want to get help, the first thing you have to do is accept when you're wrong, when you've been wrong to yourself. I chose to ignore my gut feeling. I chose to ignore my friends that were telling me, girl, are you sure? I chose to ignore it because I was scared of putting my foot down for myself. At that time, I can look back now and see that was because I didn't value myself as much. I didn't really know who I was because I kept living for other people, including someone that's so abusive. I went ahead with the wedding, and I even remember on the day, the door opened, and I tried to call the wedding off before, but then, I'd spoken to him and he convinced me, no, we need to get married. Also, possibly at the thought of he can't embarrass everyone. And he said that he had sorted this lie. And I just trusted he had sorted it. I remember on the wedding day, there had been no conversation, there had been no apology, but I'd walked into our wedding day knowing that all of his family thought I was a liar and a thief. And the doors opened, and I remember whispering to myself, get that Oscar. I decided to take my stage life to my wedding.
Wow.
And I also, in my mind, thought that if I ignore my gut, which was, you shouldn't be doing this, that in my mind going forwards, if I keep smiling, I will reap the rewards.
Yeah.
Kept going round and round and round. Now, the thing is, not listening to my gut didn't just end there. I got married, and then 9 months later, he put out a post about me and lied, and it blew up in my face. I should have listened to my gut. Blew up in my face, the whole family became abusive. There was even lies put out about me that they got people to pretend to be me to confess to these lies. With it, I'm now married. It's now 9 months into the marriage, and I'm still upset about what happened before the wedding. But now 9 months later, there's this massive post that's gone out about me on social media, which is a lie. And I'm thinking to myself, what have I done? But I'm still not listening, thinking, what have I done? But on the other hand, I'm thinking, how can I get him to understand me? How can I get him to be on my side?
But how can you get him to recognize your worth? How can you get him to love you the way that you actually deserve? How can you get him to stand up for you and be the man that you want to count on, to depend on?
But what I will say to what you just said is, you can't expect someone to do that for you if you're not doing it for yourself.
Wow.
What I realized is everything that I was looking for him to do to protect me, to stand up for me, to stop lying against me, to be there, to be the man in my life, I wasn't doing for myself because the way I can paint it is like this. It's almost like someone going, please love me, look, I'm so amazing, please love me, and not seeing that I'm amazing, giving everything to this person and to this environment, and knowing you're not getting anything back, but hoping that the more you beg, the more you get back eventually. Make excuses for them time and time again. We do, Valerie, we do. And that's what I kept doing. It's really funny you should say that, Valerie, because I made excuses for him. He's under pressure. You know, his family are giving him a lot of stick. You know, he's got a son. You know, he's tired. He's been working really hard. He drives back and forwards picking up his son all the time, and he just doesn't have the energy to fight for me. What? I found that even after the 9 months and everything kicked off, I was forced to then get out. It wasn't my decision. Although before I had control, I then lost control because I didn't listen to my gut. Now that was a really hard thing for me, because the smiley, bubbly Phoebe, the singer, the pastor's kid, you know, the nice, bubbly friend that everyone has, the one that just wants everyone to be happy and for the world to just be amazing, lost control. And in losing control, I then lost myself. I then started to smoke 20 cigarettes a day. I tried to commit suicide. I was on the floor. I was on the run from this guy as well, our police protection. I was ignoring my family. I'd fallen out with so much of my family members. And I literally found myself in a place where I was really alone. Now, let me tell you something. Everything that I'm telling you is watered down. Because trust me, as Naomi said at the beginning, my story could be turned into the biggest movie. When your 80-year-old mother turns to you and says, I haven't even lived some of the things that you've lived in your life. I don't know how you do it. That's how you know that you've been through the back. She's lived 80 years and she's telling me, I can't even relate to some of the things that you've gone through. But I didn't listen to my gut just then, and I didn't listen to my gut even after that. Couple months later, so now I'm forced out the relationship. There's no control, and I've now lost control of myself. I'm now in my own head. I can't control my weight loss. I can't control my emotions. I couldn't. It's deep, people. I couldn't control my bladder. I couldn't control me. I lost me. I started to turn down gigs, and then I stopped earning money because I was so hurt. And all of this, and I'm not blaming myself, but all of this came from me not listening to me. All of this came from me not listening to me and looking for something in someone else that they couldn't give me. So I validated their life and their mind and their decisions more than my own.
Phoebe, let me just say something, because I'm just thinking about something as you're sharing and as you're talking. We started off this conversation with your voice, and for anyone who was asking to hear Phoebe sing, the voice you heard singing in that video was Phoebe. You have built your career, your business on your voice and helping other people find their voice. Isn't it funny? Funny is probably the wrong word. Isn't it maybe even ironic that throughout this conversation or throughout this experience of life that you went through, you ended up losing this thing, your voice, that has carried you professionally throughout all of these years? It's funny how, again, funny is the wrong word. Ironic. Let's go with ironic. It's ironic that this same voice that took you from North London to literally going all across the world, to featuring on some of the biggest artists, music that we have and we can listen to today, this situation stole your voice. But here's one thing, and I want everyone to pay attention to this. Phoebe is not blaming herself. However, she's accepting full responsibility for her decisions.
Yes.
Because from what I'm hearing from you, and Phoebe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, at no point were you forced to take any action. You made conscious decisions about what you did and did not do. You consciously chose to ignore that voice in your head that was telling you, run. This is not it. And I don't want to be putting words into your mouth, but I'm telling you something that I can relate to. Being a pastor's kid, oftentimes we are forced to protect our family names at our own detriment.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we can't even make, or we feel as though we can't make the right decision for us because it will reflect badly on the people who we didn't ask to represent, but we happen to represent.
Yeah.
A comment.
And
go on.
It's funny you should say that, because I love my parents dearly. I do love my parents. But I realized how their upbringing had been reflected on me and taught to me, and I realized how stuck they were. And I didn't realize this at the time, right? I realized this after I had done some work on myself, and, as you said, took full responsibility for my part that I played in my own downfall, so to speak. I took responsibility for the decisions I made, but there was one moment before the wedding. I went to my mum.
All right.
Now, I know my mum loves me dearly.
Of course.
I also know that my mum is the first lady. She's the one that everyone's looking at. And she's excited that her youngest baby's getting married. But I knew what her answer would be. I went to her, and I remember she came with me to pick up the dress. And I sat in the car and I said, Mum, I knew I was asking the wrong person. I knew what her answer was going to be. But I needed someone to be on side so that I could validate the wrong decision that made.
I hear you.
I knew my mum would understand to an extent. I said, Mum, this has happened. I've been lied on. That I've taken money, and I didn't. In fact, I was helping him with his money, and I can't understand why this has happened, and I'm being called a gold digger, and I don't understand. Should I get married, Mum? Should I still do it? And she said, Phoebe, you never know. It could change. And I love my mother dearly, and I don't blame her, but she was doing what she knew was right based on the Bible that she had read and the interpretation of that Bible that she had read and what she was brought up in.
Yeah.
But I knew not to go to her because my best friends that were telling me you shouldn't do this, one of my sisters that was telling me you shouldn't do this, all those people that were surrounding me that were saying, no. I even had people say to me, I will start the songs in the church until, everyone comes out, so that you don't have to do it. People were prepared to protect me at all costs. One person that I knew was going to feel away because of the name and because of the people that were surrounded and because of the way that we've been taught to acknowledge the word and acknowledge, marriages of God, etc., etc. That came at a cost of walking into something that was going to damage me. I decided to listen to that. I decided to ask that person knowing what I was going to get.
Yeah.
There was another point I was going to make, but I can't remember what it is now. There was something else that I was going to say. But there's something else you said to me that I was going to say before this. But it will come back. Lord will bring it back to my remembrance. Amen.
You can take the girl out of the church.
Right.
But Phoebe, has it come back?
No. But go on.
Okay. I want to know. Okay. I know your story. I know that some people who are watching this have no idea. So a recap. Okay, I'm gonna let. Oh, go on.
I didn't remember. Sorry.
Go on.
After not listening to my gut the first time, and after not listening to my gut the second time, even after I'd been abused after the 9 months, then going and being, plastered all over the internet and all sorts of lies and people pretending to be me and confessing and whatever. Then his son got sick with cancer 3 months later. And although I was sad, I also deep down saw it as an opportunity to take him back. Yes. Take him back, because I then still thought I could change him.
Because now he needed you. He needed you to be his rock.
I was the shoulder. I was the one away from all the noise. I was that shoulder. I took him back. But he was back in secret. No one knew he was back.
Ah, that's what you mean.
So as he was speaking to me and he was calling me and crying and talking about the death of his son had now died. And because I could relate, because I'd known his son since he was 3 years old and he had died at age 9, I then saw that as another opportunity for me to save him. I still haven't saved myself, you know. I'm still trying to get over what happened to me 3 months before. You had just plastered my name all over the internet. I couldn't believe the amount of dishonor and embarrassment and the weight. And then we ask for the punishment. And then 3 months later, I've now decided, even though I'm on the floor, I'm still going to try and help someone. And I still haven't done the work on myself yet.
Wow.
Gone back in. He ended up not coming back to me like that, but we started to build a relationship, visiting the grave. Even when I went to the funeral, no one knows that he had been at my house the night before. I'd walked into that funeral and I sat at the back. I sat at the back of my own stepson's funeral with eyes, daggers staring at me. I felt sick. I didn't get to say goodbye. And the next day after the funeral, he said, you know, it was really great to know that you was in the audience. I was like, and then when he came to me one day and he said to me, you could have come and seen my son because you still had my surname. Although we went together, you still had my surname. So if you cared, you could have walked into any hospital and come to see my son. And this is now, I've already been hurt twice, 3 times, and I'm then whipping my own back again. I'm standing there and I remember being in the kitchen and saying, I have your surname and you didn't even think to tell me that he was sick. I have your surname and you lied on me in front of the whole world. I have your surname and you have not protected me once. And I remember him just saying to me, oh yeah, true, you got a point. And that was it, sitting down and eating some food. And I still accepted it. The change had to start with me, and I wasn't ready yet. And I acknowledge that now. The change had to start with me. But I still wasn't listening to the right gut, so to speak. As you said, there's different.
And we've got 2 of them.
There's 2 guts. There's 2 guts. And, you know, I just want to put it out there, and I can see your comments, and I really appreciate, and I am touched that you all can feel my pain. But one thing I will say is I'm not the same girl. I'm not the same girl. I've learned a hard lesson. And that's why this life lesson tonight is listen to your gut. Whether that's with friends, whether that's with work. I've had to listen to this. Taught me a couple months later, I was on tour with another massive artist. And this taught me that finally after, I mean, again, I'm telling different parts of my story is so big, but I'm telling different parts of it. But it was so, I remember working not long after the funeral and walking away from a gig because I wasn't being treated right. I didn't have another gig to go to. I didn't have another show to do, but I could smell the rudeness. I could smell the disgust in the artist's behavior. And because I had started to work on myself and I worked out my value and I started to honor and face me and started to do the work and started to scrape away all the nice looking makeup and just get to the nitty gritty of all the bits that needed exfoliating. I started to do the work on me, that when I walked into a room the next time, if I even sniffed a certain attitude, or if I saw that I wasn't being appreciated, I had no problem, and I still have no problem with picking up my bag ever so nicely and ever so politely and going home.
Phoebe, I need to put a pin right there because you're segueing right nicely onto the next section that I really want to talk about. And I'm mindful of the time because I can't believe how much the time has gone already. But listen,
so much to say.
A question has come in that I think is really powerful and will get us to the next part of the conversation. Shay says, how have you found the courage to speak your truth now, regardless of their judgment? And Shay saying that she assumes that they would not like this version of events. what gives you the audacity to be here today, right now, sharing your story in such a candid, open, and honest way for all to see?
As I said, I'm not the same person. I had to do the work. I went away and I started to do therapy. Now, again, that was something that I had to listen to my gut. One of my friends said to me, "You need therapy, Phoebe. Paul, I think he's on here." And I was like, "Therapy? Like, I'm not mad." That was my answer. That's all I knew.
There is that stigma, isn't it? There's that stigma that if you have to go to someone to get help, that means there's something wrong with you. I must be crazy. I must be broken somehow.
Yeah. However, I am broken.
It
takes accepting that I didn't deserve what was done to me. I didn't deserve all the pain that was inflicted, but there was something that made me accept it. And that was me. I accepted it because of me, because of how I viewed myself. Now, they may not like this version of events. They may have a very different side to it. But I've learned that it's okay. That's okay. Because whether you listen to your guts or not, everyone's going to have something to say. Whether I got married, whether I chose to get married, I would have upset some people. And I got married and still upset some people.
Yeah.
I had to do the work and realize that the change starts with me. And because I've started to do the work, I can speak openly about my experience. Now, let me tell you something. Me speaking is not because I want to get my own back. Me speaking is not because I have any time to give attention to them. But me speaking is for my own release. And that in itself is a journey, because when I went to therapy, at first, all I wanted was revenge. Let me tell you something. I wanted revenge. I was so hurt. Naomi, you came to my house when I was this thin. And I was like, I want revenge. I've done nothing but good. I've tried. But I had to understand that it's not revenge you need. You have to start looking at yourself. You have to work on yourself. And once you work on yourself, you realize that revenge is nothing to do with it. Speaking your truth shows your strength. And that in itself is enough. I don't care what anyone else has to say. Whatever's been said about me before is still out there. There are still posts on Instagram or wherever about me. There is nothing I can do about it. What I do have control over is me. And having control of myself is what makes me speak and tell my story. And my reason for telling my story is not because I want to fight. My reason for telling my story is because I want to help someone else out there.
That's right.
I want to show other young Black women, or women in general, or people, even men, that by not making the mistakes that I made and being too nice and being too smiley and being too accommodating to everyone else is the way forward. That's not what you should be doing. And if that means I have to share my story, no matter how painful it is painful. I still wake up crying. I still have nightmares. I still see my stepson's face. I still feel his hands, and I never got to say goodbye. I'm still in pain, and I'm still learning to listen to my gut. But if I can help someone by sharing my truth, that's all that matters to me. That's all that matters to me. I hope that answered your question, Shay.
Let me just jump in here with this question, because I think it's a really powerful question. Paul says, is this truth a forever truth, or will it evolve?
Truth of what? Sorry, Paul. The truth as in my truth, or what I've.
So I'm going to jump in here, and I'm going to interpret it how I think. And Paul, if I'm wrong, please jump in and shut me down. So what I think Paul is actually asking is, you have developed the courage to be able to stand and speak your truth. You've been able to go through a process of healing. You've been able to get therapy. You've been able to view your situation from a fresh perspective, which has literally given you a new set of eyes, which has allowed you to view your experience through a certain lens. I think Paul is asking is, your story that you're sharing right now, you're telling your truth right now. Do you think that this is the ultimate truth? This is the only way to view your experience? Or is it possible that as you continue to grow, because as you said, it's a lesson you're still learning about trusting your gut, you're still on this journey. Is it possible that as you continue to grow, as you continue to develop, that your perspective may shift again, and you may see your experience in a different way? That's what I think Paul means by, is it a forever truth or is it evolving?
What I can say to that is that I am where I am now. We are always changing. Us as people, we are always growing. We will always have different experiences.
Yeah.
Right now, this is my story for where I am now. I might look at it in 10 years and be like, oh, is that what I went through? Right now, I look at it and I'm like, wow, that's what I went through.
Yeah.
As you said, our perspectives may change depending on later on. It could evolve. And the only way that I can look at that is just understanding that this is where I am now. It may not be where, I mean, there's times before, and it's funny Paul should ask that question, because there's times before when I had been in situations and I had called yourself, Naomi, I'd call Paul, I'd call other friends, Rochelle, and I couldn't speak how I am speaking now because I didn't see it like that.
And this is why I'm like beaming here with pride, because I remember when I was speaking to that Phoebe who was on the floor, literally on her face, unable to drag herself up out of this dark pit that she had fallen into. So seeing this woman today, whew, it's refreshing to see. Someone else said that Lesh says, believe me or not, you make me strong with your story. Please write a book to empower women. Phoebe, that's another sign, you know.
You know what, Naomi, we've spoken about it. I want to write a book. I started with my blog, and if any of you are interested, please go to my blog page. There's only a few posts up there at the moment.
Give us the address. I was going to do this at the end, but we'll do it now. What's the address?
www.phoebeedwards.com. That's PHEBE Edwards.com. There's no O in my name.
Put it in the comments for me, please, so I can pin it. Please, someone put it in the comments for me.
And in this blog, I've started to experiment telling some of my stories. Yes. I feel like in this book, it will expose a lot about myself and expose a lot about people around me and about some of the experiences I've been through. But I really want to help other people. Hi, Roxy. That's my bestie. I want to help other people. And in this book, as you said, I'm really glad that by sharing my story with you, I've helped someone somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a book is
on the cards. That's it, definitely.
Yeah.
Phoebe, listen. Now I know we're running out of time, and I've already been sent a message saying, "Don't you dare end this! Don't you dare end this! That we're here." I think it was Shay who said it. We're here for as long as it takes. But here's the thing. What I really want to go on to. You've talked about finding the courage, which is incredible, and the journey that you have gone on to be able to get to that point. And you know, in answer to Paul's question, and I think this is also going out to anyone who may have experienced something traumatic and is recognizing that as a human, you should reserve the right to change your mind. You should reserve the right to change your perspective on any given issue or anything that you look on your life. Change your mind. Like, that is your human right. We don't have to be bound by decisions that we may have once made. Yes, there may be consequences to the decisions that we make, but the beautiful thing about life is that as long as you are breathing, as long as you still are living, you have the ability, you have the capacity to turn that thing around. You have the capacity and the ability to look at your situation in a slightly different way and make different decisions going forward. You may not be able to reach a new destination overnight, but by my goodness, you certainly can change your direction overnight.
Yes.
And I think that's exactly what Phoebe has done, which makes her story all the more powerful. Because Phoebe, if you don't mind me saying, I believe that by you having the courage today to share your story, to just share a snippet of your story, because I'm fully aware that it's not the whole thing.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are watching, please make sure you do go and check out her blog so you can catch up on more of her story, and as she shares her truth and as her life evolves. One of the things that we must remember is that this is a reason why we need to lose this shame culture, because I believe that when we go through things, when life happens to us, and we have the courage to stand up on an online platform, on a stage, wherever it may be, and share our story, we are liberating someone who may be bound. We are providing hope for someone who is feeling hopeless. Phoebe, there might be someone watching right now, whether it is on YouTube, whether it is on Facebook, whether we're watching now or on the replay. Someone may be tuned in now who is feeling like there is no way out of the mess that they are in. They may feel that they've gone too far, like the situation is too dire, and they simply don't have the strength to even take another step. But I am so glad that your pain, your tears, your heartache, your heartbreak, your anxiety, your depression, all of it has been repurposed simply by you having the courage to be able to stand up and tell your truth. Phoebe, I know that you are liberating people who are watching. I know that you are giving hope to people who felt like there may not have been any. You see the comments for yourself. There are people who can relate to what you're saying. Men, women, it doesn't matter. The principle is still the same. Sometimes your gut speaks, and it's there to prevent you from making mistakes. Sometimes your gut is there to save your life, but equally, sometimes your gut can serve as a hindrance to the next level that you're supposed to actually get to. And I think it's important for us to keep those in perspective as we go on this journey called life. But remember, you're human. You have the right to make a mistake. Reserve that right to dust yourself off, literally, to try again unashamedly.
Never
and this is something I want to. Shay is making me laugh.
Shay
and Paul.
Oh, yes. I'm not gonna lie. At one point, you're talking. I was gonna go. That's amen. I told myself because I knew I'd make you laugh. Anyway, carry on.
Phoebe, we're actually over time now. I see people are still tuned in, and that's a good sign. They're not bored of this story yet. Phoebe, let me ask you this. You know, we talked about the plans for this show, and you know, if any, like when Phoebe and I get on the phone, we can be on the phone for literally hours, unpacking all sorts of different things. Because obviously, Phoebe, I know. Yeah, anyone who knows Phoebe, she loves her tea, guys.
My partner just brought me a cup of tea because I think he can hear passion. He's like, let me get a cup of tea. I think I'm Thank you. Sorry, go on.
Phoebe, we get on the phone, we speak for hours, we have so much, we encourage one another, we inspire one another, we share with one another. And I know that we had lots of different ways that this show could have gone tonight. We could have talked about how this has played out in your career. And I want to know if you can just real quick give us a short story, perhaps, of how this lesson of trusting your gut has played out and has impacted your career.
There's a few.
And let me just give you some context. The reason why I'm asking is because this show is all about getting life lessons from entrepreneurs. So there may be people right now who have tuned in because they want to hear something. All right, trust your gut. I see how it plays out in my relationship. But what about in my business? How does trusting my gut actually play out in that arena?
What I will start by saying is there's pros and cons to trusting your gut, okay, as we've said.
Yeah.
And when it comes to work and trusting your gut, it's impacted me in both good and bad. But one thing that the reason why I am confident in trusting my gut, and whether the impact has been good or bad, the reason why I'm confident in it and the actions that I've taken towards it is because I started to speak to myself differently. And I started to see myself. I started to look in the mirror and say, "You queen.
That's right.
You are badass. You are amazing. And there's no one like you."
That's right.
And the reason why I was able to do that is because when I realized that I could walk away from, okay, for example, something happened on a gig. As I said, I'll go back to that example that I was speaking about earlier. I won't say the names because, you know, you're not meant to do that kind of stuff. And I was being treated a certain way. And this was not long after I'd gone through my issue with my now ex-husband. But I started to do the work on myself, and I started to see myself through different eyes. And I remember going to this gig and being in rehearsals and being treated a certain way. And I didn't like it. And I spoke about it. And then there was an email that went back and forwards between management and myself and someone else that was involved. And I realized there were lies. Now, in this industry, it's better, especially as a Black woman in this industry, better to shut up. You know, how good you are, just shut up and get on with it. Just keep it moving because you just need to make your money. But I was like, no, I need to make, it doesn't just start and end with my relationship. It starts and ends in work, in loads of things.
Your whole life, holistically.
In my whole life, yeah. So in that instant, I was at this gig and something was said and I was treated a certain way. I spoke up and I ended up sending an email to everyone saying, I thank you for having me. And this was because my mindset had changed, because I know what I bring to the table.
That's right. I
might not be what you want over there, but I know what I have got.
Yeah.
And I know how much your stage is, I know how much I bring to your stage, and I know how much I make your stage shine with my additional help.
That's right.
So I said thanks, but I'm all the best with the new single. It's been a great journey. But before I'd done that, I had exposed everyone. I had added a few different people to this phone call and some of the emails, and realized that there were lies that were being said, you know, because everyone got scared. Now that impacted me in a good way for myself, because I was now confident, because I knew I was walking in my truth, and I knew that I knew what I wanted. I knew what I brought to the table. However, impacted me because there were certain people that weren't going to book me because in fear of me leaving in the gig. Now, that again, it's a positive and a negative, but I still don't care. That might sound bad to some people, but I am so sure of what I have. Now, let's not get it wrong. I'm not saying I have everything. Like, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. But I do know the cup of tea that I do have is pretty damn good.
That's right.
Just thought I'd sit right there. I'm versatile. I know what I can do. I can sing high. I can sing low. I can learn stuff. I can da. You will not disrespect me because I've had that too much in my life, and it had impacted me where I had heard that I'm not going to be called for a certain gig because they heard what happened over here. Yeah. But because, as I said, I started with knowing me and knowing the value that I bring to the table, it didn't faze me. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely did answer my question. Thank you, Phoebe. Phoebe, I've got two more questions for you. Then we have to wrap up because we are way over time. Phoebe,
yes.
No, I'm not going to do that. But feel free if you like to. We no pressure. Anyway, I want you to speak to the person who's on here today who has maybe just tuned in. They may have missed everything that was said before. They may have come on, switched off, come on again, and they may not have followed the conversation. I want you to speak to the person who has forgotten everything that went before, and you've got one message to leave them with from this point going forward. What would be the one message that you would want to deliver to the person who needs to hear from you the most? What is that one message that you want to leave us all with tonight?
Listen to your guts. Honor your self-worth. Know your value. You will make mistakes, but don't beat yourself up. When you listen to yourself, and when you realize some of the mistakes and you accept that you've made certain mistakes, it may feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it's only when we're uncomfortable that we will grow.
Mm.
Do the work. Don't be afraid of therapy. Don't be afraid to dig a little deeper. I've got to a point now that whenever something happens and I don't feel quite right inside, I go back to me. And I start to question myself about why certain things have made me feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Because I know that I need to listen to me, and that might be uncomfortable, but that's a very big sign to show me that I'm doing the right thing. So listen to yourself, get uncomfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
And own being uncomfortable, and in that you will grow. Listen to you.
Phoebe, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking such a bold step, because it isn't easy to come and make yourself this vulnerable. It isn't easy to expose some of the deepest hurts. I know that throughout this conversation, we had to go to a really dark and painful place. But I just want to affirm you right now in front of everyone watching to say that you did it with grace. You did it with dignity. You did it with power. And so many people have been touched, have been empowered, have been inspired, and have been, I would even go as far to say, released from what you have just done. The beautiful thing about sharing your story is that you never know exactly who is going to listen to it. You never know who is in the audience. And literally right now, look, it's almost as I we're in a room with just us. It's like we're on the phone having a chat. But we've got people who are going to be watching this live, people who are going to be watching this on the replay, and people are going to hear, even if it is a single word from you, that might just give them the hope, the courage, the bravery, the encouragement that they need to just press on for even one more day, to hang on for even one more moment, and to remind themselves also of their worth, because you did say to honor your worth. Sometimes we take ourselves for granted.
We do.
Sometimes we don't appreciate ourselves the way that we should. And that can oftentimes land us in situations that we have no business in. And so I want to speak to everyone watching right now. And if you are one of those people who may be in a situation that you have no business being in, you might be suffering horrendous, things might be horrendous in your life right now. Things might be weighing you down. We're in this lockdown situation where everything is like it's magnified. When you're stressed, it's even worse because it's not as like you can just go outside and go to the park or whatever and have a break. Life is not an easy road that we're traveling. But the fact that you're still here, I want to encourage you to press on. I want to encourage you to, just like Phoebe says, to value and honor yourself and remember that you are worthy, that you do deserve love. You do deserve respect. And I heard something really, someone said it to me the other day. I can't remember if it was in my coaching group or if it was somewhere online. I saw that you are to know your worth and then add tax. And I absolutely. That's right.
That's right. That's how I live now.
Phoebe, tell me, there are so many people who are going to be wanting to know, how can they connect with you? How can they support you in your endeavors here, in the future? Oh, let me just read this quick comment before we do go to this. We need others in our network to build us up when we forget. Who you choose to surround yourself with is so important. I love this, Shay. If you forget your worth, we've got you. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Talk to Shay. I need to get Shay's number.
Shay's a phenomenal woman who I have the pleasure of knowing. And in fact, let me not even go there. Phoebe, talk to us. Where can we connect with you? Where can we find you? How can we support what it is that you're doing? Give us the info.
www.phoebeedwards.com. You will find Instagram, Facebook, you'll find SoundCloud, you'll find music videos that I've done, you'll find my blog that I have started, and there you'll be able to stay tuned with information about a new project that I'm starting, which is based on my story. It's called Pandora's Box of Love. Ooh. I've written a few songs which are expressing my journey, and it will speak more about what I've been through. So as well as the blog, as well as possibly writing a book, because now a lot of you guys have said that, I have that project that I'm working on that is coming out soon. So please go to www.phoebeedwards.com. There you will find songs that I've released already. There you'll find all my platforms. Oh, thank you, Bianca. And you will also find, you'll find me. So join in, subscribe, or send me a message. And also Tuesday is my birthday.
Yeah. Big day.
I'm not singing tonight. Okay, guys, I'm not doing it. You know why? Because I feel like I am a nervous speaker, and I think I need to challenge myself a bit, not to always, although I love singing and it's amazing and it's what I do and I do it with confidence, I don't want to always hide behind singing. So I'm challenging myself to be able to come away from a platform without singing. Yeah. However, I have prepared something that I will be dropping on Tuesday, which will be a cover of a song which I did near the beginning of the lockdown. And if you want to hear that song and see the video, you'll be able Shay, I'm so sorry, Shay. You'll be able to see it on my Instagram page for my birthday present from me to you. So thank you. Happy advanced birthday. Thank you.
Phoebe, it has been an absolute honor. Thank you so much for spending a few moments with us this evening. You know what, let me just say something to everyone whilst we're on, and I'm going to continue being the voice for this. It is so important for us to create platforms for one another. It is so important for us to support one another when we are on the way up. I said it last week. I will say it next week. I will say it every week as long as I can. Listen, we have amazing people within our network. We have amazing people literally at arm's length, one phone call away. But oftentimes I find that we can be so tempted to look further afield, to call on these so-called celebrities that we choose to give our praise to, that we choose to buy their music, we choose to buy their products or to book their services. We have value in our own networks, in our own communities. And I want to challenge each and every one of you on here tonight to make sure that you do just that. Make sure that you celebrate the people who are around you whilst they're alive to hear your praise. Make sure that you go out and you support Phoebe in what she's doing, because she's doing it from her heart. She's giving her all. Let's not wait until she's not around for us to realize how much we appreciate her. And you know what? This doesn't just go for Phoebe. This goes for my previous guests that I've had. This goes for Serena. This goes for Ori. This goes for those wonderful people that we are celebrating and that we are championing right here, right now. Let us never, ever forget that these people that we look up to, that we revere almost, only got to where they were because someone somewhere believed in them, supported them, cheered them on. There are people who are on the rise right now who need your support, who need your celebration, who need your encouragement. So I want to encourage everyone to do just that. Remember, as Phoebe says, trust your gut, trust your instincts. There may be that voice in you that's telling you that's saying that you can't do this. And that might be your imposter syndrome ringing loud. And there's ways that you can overcome that. But equally, there might be that gut, that still small voice that is screaming to you, stop or run, or whatever it may be. Learn to differentiate between the voices in your head. Learn to place a bit more value on your own self. And really, I just really want everyone to learn to love and embrace exactly who they are, who they were created to be. Your journey, never despise your journey, because it has made you who you are today, and it's part of who you are becoming tomorrow. So Phoebe, thank you so much. Thank you for your gift. Thank you. You're most welcome. Thank you for your gifts. Thank you for your transparency, your honesty. It's been amazing having you. And I'm hoping that this isn't going to be the last time, because I know we're going to need a part 2 for this.
Oh yeah, there's so much to tell. But Naomi, I also want to say thank you for encouraging. You were one of those friends that were there in the time of need. And again, as you're saying, we must give flowers while they're here. Naomi, you are one of those people that picked me up off the floor. There was Paul, there was Olivia, there was Rochelle, there was so many people that literally picked me up off the floor, and you were one of them. And I want to thank you for being there for me, and thank you for this platform, because Naomi empowers. That's what you do, and that's what you're doing. And I really appreciate it. And all my love to all of you that are watching, and to you, Naomi.
Thank you so much, Phoebe. Love you loads. All right, guys, we're way over time. But thank you. Way over. Thank you for everyone being here today. Again, we are going to be here live again next week, Sunday at 8 p.m. I've got another special guest for you. Please make sure you tune in. You do not want to miss this. Thank you to everyone watching live or on the replay. Don't forget to, thank you all for your comments, for getting involved in the conversation. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you all again next week for another episode of the Naomi Empowers Show. Thank you all. Thank you, Phoebe, for coming, and I wish you all a fantastic week ahead. Bye-bye, everyone.